said pause during the program in order to help us balance comments.
And now, McCollum Wellness Radio.
In my life there came a time when I had to make a change. You know that things just weren't right. I looked around for someone else to blame. I searched and I searched and I reached down inside. And I knew when I found there's a light I can hide. I can be free, I can be free. I can rise above, I can be free, I can be free. I will rise above.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Duncan McCollum coming to you from Santa Cruz. A little bit of wet stuff coming out of the sky. I'm not really sure what it is. I haven't seen something like that for a while, but I know we sure need it. Let's see. Today is a day for you to really reflect back on where your life has been the last couple of years and do something about it, because we do have a chance to make a change. That song is from my good friend Steve Funderburg, and it's sung by Tony Lindsay, 8-time Grammy Award winner. You can find Steve Funderburg online on any of the media that plays that kind of music. And I really appreciate him allowing me to play that song. So Dr. Duncan McCollum, I've been on the air for many years. Really appreciate KSC for allowing me to do that. You can find me also, Duncan McCollum, or McCollum Wellness Radio on my podcast. You can find me in Capitola, McCollum Family Chiropractic. We have McCollumWellness.com website that's being revamped right now. So just go ahead and tune into what we're doing. We're really trying to help people become as healthy as possible. And I also have my books online at Amazon. I have New Hope for Sciatica, and that's a great book that talks about what else you can do to reduce the pain, the symptoms of your body showing you that something's going on physically, chemically, or emotionally. It goes into all three of those causes. I also have another book, my latest book, called Turn Back Your Biological Clock. It goes into detoxifying your body, the three major deadly trio, we call them, hidden infections, which I was the effect of in November, molds, which we all are, and heavy metals, which we get 5 generations down through mother's umbilical blood, along with the 278 chemicals that they found in the blood of babies not even living outside their mommy yet. So I'm glad to be here. I had a lot of people comment on my show last week, because I was really talking about the 3 stressors in life. There's really 3 stressors. One is physical, one's chemical, and one is emotional, spiritual. So a lot of times, if you are trying to handle your health and you are working on the wrong end of that, let's call it a pyramid of health, you're not going to get the results you want. For instance, if you have, let's just say pain, let's take skeletal pain, sciatica, headaches, arm pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, all of that stuff, and your solution is chemical, pharmaceutical stuff, or other kind of things, potions and snake oils that you might have out there, which actually oftentimes work better than anything, but you're not getting the results that you want, then you might be looking at the wrong medium. For instance, it may be a physical issue. It might be something with a pinched nerve in your spine, or pressure on the communication system going down to those joints. So if you're trying to do a chemical interference for those type of symptoms and you're not getting the results you want, then try something different. You know, and I would recommend finding a good chiropractor. You know, we're here in Capitola and we'd love to see if we're the right people for you. And that's one thing that I promise, that when you come in, we'll let you know whether we think we can help you. And if we don't think we can, we'll tell you right off the bat and try to find somebody more suited for your needs. And the second part is the chemical component. So if you are seeing a physical doctor, whether it's a physiatrist, a physical therapist, a chiropractor, acupuncturist, or anybody along that line, a bone setter, if you live south of the border, and you're not getting the results you want, perhaps you need to look at chemistry. Now, Dr. Robert Young was just on the show with Tom Quinn the last hour, and he was talking about the different fluids in the body. He was talking about the blood in our body, which is about 5 quarts of blood flowing around in our body. It passes every cell 5 times a minute. Our blood circulates through our body 5 times a minute. But we actually have 4 to 5 times as much lymph fluid in our body than we have blood. And Dr. Young was talking about how this is ignored or not looked at, or maybe the naivety of our healthcare system of really recognizing its role in keeping us healthy. And we have 75 trillion cells in our our body, and those cells are all living things, and they have been grouped into different systems or organs like livers, kidneys, lungs, hearts, and all that, to sustain life, and they work as a team to keep us healthy. The nervous system, which we perceive our environment through touch, smell, taste, body temperature, foods, send electrical signals to our brain. Our brain turns them into chemicals called hormones in the pituitary and hypothalamus, which puts a chemical into our bloodstream, which communicates to the different organs and cells in our body. So as long as that chemistry is clean, the hormones work very well and our body responds very well. As we are moving over into the chemical aspect of health here, this would be the second side of the health pyramid. There's physical, chemical, mental, emotional. The chemistry is a real issue right now in our country because we are so toxic. And Dr. Young alluded to that. Our cells have become so toxic that they're unable to function correctly. They're not able, the cell walls are so plugged up with toxins that they're not able to recognize hormones or even open the door to let hormones, vitamins, and minerals in, and possibly even more importantly, let the toxic waste from the energy production out of our cells. And even if it does get out of our cells, it has to get through the bloodstream, through the liver, kidney, lungs, and skin to get out of our body. Our liver is our major detox system. It dumps into our intestines. And we have I've seen statistics that say that 95% of the people in the United States have some sort of leaky gut syndrome. What that means in medical terms, they call it intestinal permeability. They like that term better. But what it means is things that are in your digestive system or your colon that are supposed to go out of your body are leaking into your circulatory system, into your bloodstream. And as they get into our bloodstream, they're being carried past every cell 5 times a minute, because the blood circulates our body 5 times a minute. Those toxins then brush up or splash up against the cell wall. And just imagine if you had some kind of, let's just take I don't know, a jellyfish, and you pour turpentine on it. That would not do very well for that jellyfish, right? You've got substances that should never be touching the outside skeleton, the exoskeleton, or whatever it is a jellyfish has. And it actually damages that external environment to a point where it would more than likely kill the jellyfish. Well, your cells operate much the same. It's a cell wall made predominantly of omega-6s and other phospholipids and proteins. And that cell wall is basically there to allow the right stuff in the cells, keep the bad stuff out of the cells, and get the bad stuff out of cells. So, as we're consuming food, the microbiome in our gut, there's 100 trillion microbiome in our gut. Those are called bacteria and other little buggers. They basically digest our food for us. Without the microbiome that we are under attack, we're attacking them. Without the healthy microbiome, our body cannot digest food. Interestingly enough, that same type of system exists with all life forms. When you look at plants in the ground, their roots can't absorb the vitamins and minerals that is in the ground unless there's a microbiome in the soil that breaks down those vitamins and minerals into a food source that the root system can actually absorb and feed the plant. So a lot of times our soil has been so depleted of these, not only vitamins and minerals. They say back in the 50s, they said that 50% of our minerals were missing from the over-farmed lands. So the food that we're getting now is nowhere near as healthy as it was 50 years ago and beyond. And the soil has been tilled. It's been sprayed with all kinds of different pesticides and herbicides, as Dr. Young was talking about, the DDT and all that stuff in the 60s and 70s, that the microbiome in our own soil is being depleted and making it harder for the plants to have the nutrient load that they did of yesteryear. So we're trying to be healthy. We're trying to eat organic food, hopefully non-GMO food that's not sprayed with Roundup right now or glyphosate, which most all grains grown in the United States are liberally sprayed with glyphosate. And even the genetically modified grains have got a gene implanted in the makeup of that grain itself that is immune or resistant to the effects of glyphosate. Glyphosate is an herbicide that kills plants. But since the genetically modified plant has got that gene there, it is protected against massive amounts of glyphosate. So the farming companies can basically spray their fields and kill all of the other weeds, but not the plant of choice that they're trying to grow because it has that protection. In 1970, there was a Dr. Blaylock, I believe his name was, and he was working in Mexico City trying to increase the yield of wheat. And he succeeded. He increased the yield of wheat 7 times and won the Nobel Prize for that. To end world hunger was his goal. But in the process of doing that, he changed the makeup of wheat so much that new strains of glutens were created that had never been created before. And these became undigestible to a large amount of our society and the population on Earth. And, as we've evolved as a species on a planet full of species, everything kind of moved along together. But that was such a great leap in evolution that the human body cannot keep up with it. And then the people that have weaker immune systems, weaker digestive systems, maybe some potential allergies to grains to begin with, are going to be the ones that are the greatest affected by these toxins. And they're going to be the ones that get sick. And that could be inflammatory conditions, arthritides, turn on autoimmune diseases, thyroid dysfunction, all these different type of conditions that are making our people of our country be rated 47th in the world for health. So I'm going to take a short break here. I'll come back in just a couple minutes, but I appreciate you listening. This is Dr. Duncan McCollum, McCollum Wellness Radio. I'll be back in a second. Thank you so much.
You can be free. This is Dr. Duncan McCollum here, and I have Pastor Mark with me. He came in and experienced the stem cell machine, the TRT machine, and he wanted to just go ahead and tell you a little bit of his experience.
Yeah, I injured my knee years ago from sports and being dumb. And after the first stem cell treatment, after the very first one, I could go full knee squat. And doctors told me that we want to replace your knee. And my knee would just ache just from sitting. And you probably experienced that if you have knee problems. But now, no ache. I can walk without pain. And when I sit, I have no pain. And I just love it. I'd recommend it to anybody. It's terrific.
When we looked at your x-rays, your discs and your knees look pretty good, too.
Yeah, they're improving so much. I just love it. I can't wait for my treatment every week. Highly recommend it to anyone.
So you'd recommend they do the $49 special to see if it will work for them?
Oh, absolutely. That's what drew me in with the $49 special. I thought, I got $50 to spend to just see, and it certainly has paid off.
Call 831-459-9990. Thanks.
Now back to McCollum Wellness Radio.
Whenever you're lonely and no one's around, just try to remember the strength that we find.
Hi, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum back. And yeah, the stem cell machine, the TRT machine, tissue regenerative therapy machine, has been pretty amazing. And if you haven't tried it, give a call for the $49 special. It's getting harder to get appointments very quickly because our office is filling up, but we do still accept people with that. So, you know, if you wanted to call and get in that same day, it probably won't happen, but we might be able to get you in within a couple days. So if you are suffering from some kind of physical condition, whether it's leg pain, foot pain, neuropathies, elbow, shoulder, hand, wrist, back, neck, you owe it to yourself to chip out $49 and come on in and see whether or not the machine we have can help you. So it's worth a try. We help a majority of the people that come in. There are a few people that we're not able to help. And again, as I opened up the show, I said there's three different parts of health. There's the physical, chemical, and emotional, spiritual. So if it's a physical and a condition, very likely the stem cell machine will help, provided that the degeneration has not occurred for so long that your body can't repair itself. Chemically, it does push toxins out of the area, pushes inflammation out of the area. So there's a good likelihood that if there's both those components involved, that it can help. And what the heck? You know, what if it were able to get you back walking on the beach, get you feeling better, like you could lift up your grandchildren or, you know, lift yourself up, walk to the beach, be able to walk the stairs, lift some weights, enjoy just going grocery shopping. I remember in November when, actually October, when I had this incredibly terrible bout of sciatica, I couldn't even shop. I could not make it to the grocery store and shop without having to stop several times. And, you know, I'm holding up my copy of the book I wrote called New Hope for Sciatica, and how embarrassing, not really, but humbling to have written that book with all of the research I've done over the last 35 years and then be stricken with sciatica. So things happen for a reason. And, you know, here I was trying to handle a physically apparent physical condition with the standard physical treatment, which was chiropractic, different physical therapies, things along this line, and I wasn't getting anywhere. And it was very frustrating. I thought, okay, this is it. It's like Red Stanford, I'm on my way. This is the big one. But then, much to my surprise and actual relief, my appendix ruptured. Put me in the hospital for 5 days. And of course, that's a life-threatening event. But when my appendix ruptured, my sciatic pain went away immediately, which was like, oh my gosh, I could have had a V8, as they say. That was a hidden infection of my appendix, which is on the right side of the lower abdomen, which was affecting the right sciatic bundle, causing enough inflammation that would simulate a pinched nerve. Well, it was pinching the nerve, but it was inflammation causing it. So, as I was talking about earlier, if you're trying to handle a health condition and you're continuing to do it the same way and you're not getting the results you want, or it's sustaining itself and holding off symptoms, then look up what Einstein said about that. I think we all know that. So it might be time to get a second, third, fourth opinion. And, we never try to tell you should do anything against what your medical doctor would tell you. I always say, why don't you run this by him and see what he has to say about it? The people involved in traditional medicine right now are so busy, they don't necessarily have time to keep up on everything. I know they try, but there's some news. The stem cell machine has only been in the United States for like 3 or 4 years. I've had mine for 3 years, and very few people really know about it. And I have people come from all over the Central Valley to get a treatment. And, it's worth a try because it could change your life. And once we get the symptoms handled, then we can take a look and go, well, what do we do to further improve your quality of living and your quality of life so that you actually can enjoy the rest of your years? There's sometimes people say, well, how long do I need to work on my health? And I kind of say, well, as long as you want to live the life you want to live, I guess it's important. If you have a really nice car and you stop maintaining it, it's not going to drive very well. And you can buy as many cars as you want, but you only have one body. And if you take care of it correctly, it will take care of you. The interesting thing about your body versus a car is that your body has the greatest physician that ever lived living inside of it. It's called innate intelligence. It's a self-correcting mechanism that will basically read the environment, read your body, and adjust accordingly. When the environment becomes more of a threat, your body will change its chemistry right down to the blood supply to the muscles or the organs or your brain for a fight or flight mechanism and or cognitive function so that you can think your way out of a problem. But the greatest physician who ever lived, who does live inside you, has one issue, actually 3 problems, and those are the 3 stressors of life: physical, chemical, and mental, emotional. And I had a coach, Dr. John Baker, great guy. He coached me for almost 10 years, and I think I quoted him in my book, New Hope for Sciatica. But he would, every other Tuesday night for 9 years, we would have a coaching call about, my practice, how to help more people, how to organize my staff better, and all these things. And I, of course, would get on the air with him and start, complaining about or worrying about this or that or that or this. And he would say, Dr. McCollum, 99.99% of the stuff you worry about never happens. And I go, yeah, I know. Okay, well, I'll talk to you next week. 2 weeks later, same thing. By the end of the call, 99.99% of the stuff that you worry about never happens. Yeah, okay, I'll talk to you in a couple weeks. This went on for 9 years. Finally, one day within that time frame, I woke up being concerned about something that wasn't going right at the office or in my life. And I was about to spend my morning coffee hour worrying about it. And I thought to myself, as it were my own thought, 99.99% of the stuff I worry about never happens. So I quit worrying about it, but it was amazing. It took that much of it that much to alter my actual mental acuity, or whatever you want to call it, for me to realize that it really was true that I was putting more stress on myself by my worrying about things that were never going to come about than you could imagine. So just take a minute and think about how many things are on your mind that you're concerned about and worrying about right now. What's the biggest thing that you're concerned about right now happening? How long have you been worrying about that? How much longer are you going to worry about it? And is it serving you to worry about it? So now, legitimate threats are legitimate threats, and legitimate issues are legitimate issues. If it's a health condition, I highly recommend that you do two things or more, but one would be either read New Hope for Sciatica that you can get on Amazon, or read Turn Back Your Biological Clock that you can get on Amazon. I've wrote both of them. A lot of that is based on the studies that I've done with people like Jeffrey Bland, who used to work with Linus Pauling, Dr. Dan Pompa, who I currently work with on a weekly basis, along with about 40 other amazing doctors of all types around the country, Canada and Mexico. But these books kind of put together the thought process that will allow you to make decisions to help you become healthier. It's up to you. No doctor or no magic pill is going to get you healthy. It's something that you have to decide to do. But if you've been trying the same thing over and over and over again, and you're not getting the results you want, it's time to change. So I just highly recommend that you take a look at what you can do to improve your health. I wanted to, this is a really cool message I got from a good friend of mine, high school friend named John Fisher, who lives up in Quincy, California. I haven't seen him in probably 40 plus years. And I ran into him at a party we had up in the Sierras this summer, and with a bunch of the old, the gang from high school. And we had a music thing going on up there. And I took up all my books and I gave one to anybody that wanted one. And I gave John the book called Coaling Station A, which is about Coalinga, which you will pass driving south on Highway 5. Coaling Station A, there was a coaling station A, B, and C. That's where the trains would stop to get coal. Well, Coaling Station A became a town called Coalinga, which my grandfather was the editor of the paper in 1910. He said his first week there were 2 shootings and a stabbing. It was a wild and woolly oil boom town with the roughnecks, basically working 12-hour shifts and then drinking 12-hour shifts on Whiskey Row, it was called. Then they go back to work. Well, I wrote a book called Coaling Station A, and John read it, and it's a murder mystery. And he called me just 2 days ago and left me a message saying how much he enjoyed it. And that to me was a real compliment. But if you like historical fiction, I've written 4 historical fiction books, also available on Amazon. And I would love it if you read them. Tell me what you think about them. They're all under Duncan McCollum on Amazon. I don't really talk about them very much, but getting that really nice message from my friend Steve made me decide to, heck, if I don't plug them, you guys don't know they're there. They don't know they're there, they're not going to get read. And if they're not going to get read, they won't be enjoyed. So hopefully you'll enjoy them. And I'd appreciate it, of course, if you would get on and order one and read it and send me comments on what you think about it. I've got about 3 other books I'm writing right now. That would be books 7, 8, and 9. Anyway, I also have one called Kaleidoscope, which is a World War I novel where my great uncle, who grew up in Carmel Valley, joined the French Air Force prior to the United States entering the war. And he became a pilot for France, and he was shot down over the Somme. And it's his story, historical fiction story about his time. And it's a pretty fun book, and I hope you get it, read it, and enjoy it. All right, so and kind of get back to my purpose today. And my purpose is to continue on with what I was talking about last week. And that's really taking a look at what you can do and where you should put your focus regarding your health. Is it a chemical problem? If it is, then nothing but cleaning up the chemistry in your body will help you get healthy. Again, Dr. Robert Young on Tom Quinn's show was talking about the lymphatic system, the interstitia, where every single cell in your body, every single muscle fiber in your body has a fascia around it, just like the fascia that you would see on a piece of steak or some kind of animal meat. There's a fascia that protects that. And flowing inside and outside of that fascia is a fluid called lymphatic fluid. And that fluid basically circulates through the body. It doesn't have a heart pumping it. It has muscles pushing it. There's 4 to 5 times as much of this lymphatic fluid in your body than there is blood. And its purpose is to splash up against the cells, clean it, wash it. It's almost like going to a drive-through car wash. Every cell gets to get through a car wash so many times a day as this fluid is circulating through your body, pulling toxins out from around the cells, pulling the toxins that come out of the cells to the liver. First, it all ends up in the heart. The lymphatic drainage all ends in the heart. The heart pushes it to the liver. The liver detoxifies it, pulls as much toxins out as it can. That gets into your gallbladder and then into your large intestine and out of your body, providing you don't have leaky gut syndrome. If you have leaky gut syndrome, you got to handle that, because if you don't, it doesn't matter what you're trying to do, how many vitamins you're taking, and even drugs to cover up your symptoms, you're not going to get well till you fix the leaky gut, because the leaky gut basically means that toxins are being recirculated through the bile into your body over and over and over again. When you go to try to get a detox, 11-day detox thing off the shelf at the health food store, unless your body is in amazingly great shape and your digestive system is working amazingly well, you're not going to get the results you want. It's going to be like stirring up the mud in a pond, because you are going to be unleashing and unlocking toxins that are held in your cells, your interstitium, which is the space between the cells, and even in your organs. And it's going to be pushed out into the lymphatic system, into the bloodstream, and it's just going to recirculate these toxins and potentially make you sicker, weaken your immune system. So it's so important that we understand the different types of detox and the proper sequence of detox. And we're going to take my second commercial break here in a second. We're going to listen to Lauren Spencer, I believe, talk about her experience with my office and the stem cell machine. If you know Lauren, she's an amazing person. She comes in on a regular basis just to keep herself healthy and make sure that her innate intelligence, that physician inside of her, has everything necessary to keep her healthy. So we'll listen to Lauren, and I'll be back in a couple minutes.
Hey, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum, and I have this amazing patient, Lauren, here, and she had a few things to say.
Hi, I'm Lauren Spencer, a local realtor, and I've been seeing Duncan for years now. I had a biking accident, and he's been adjusting me since then, and it's been amazing. But lately, I've had trouble with my feet, and I'm an avid walker, avid biker, avid golfer, and my feet were aching all the time. And I tried Duncan's TRT machine, which is an amazing stem cell machine that rejuvenates the cells. And my feet, I've had like 3 or 4 sessions with the machine, and my feet are like new, no aches, no pains. It's a miracle. So I really highly recommend Duncan and his chiropractic services, but also that TRT machine. You got to try it.
Wow, thanks, Lauren. That was awesome. So we still have the $49 special. Come on in and see if it works for you. Thank you.
And now back to McCollum Wellness Radio.
We will rise above. We will rise above. We will rise above.
everybody. This is Dr. McCollum back for the last part of my show. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and it's giving you a little bit more insight on what you can do to make yourself healthy. I was talking about the lymphatic system and how your lymph system, you've probably all heard of the lymph system. You have lymph nodes under your arms, a lot of times all through your body, really. And a lot of times when people have to have, they have the CA word and they have to have lymph nodes taken out, it's because the cancers that are formed drain into the lymphatic system, and that can spread those different type of tumors. So oftentimes the surgeons will take out any affected lymph nodes and test, or just to find out if they are affected, and hopefully they're not. But that lymphatic system, as Dr. Robert Young was saying, is so important, and really there's not a lot talked about. We do test the blood system for most all of our testing, is through the blood work. However, urine analyses are very important for finding hormone function. We look for different type of cortisol stressors, your adrenal function, and that's all done through basically urine tests is the best way to test those, because that's the fluid system in your body. And a lot of the byproducts of cellular function or organ function or hormone function are excreted through the urine. So by testing that, we can also get a good barometer on how your body's being healthy or not. And, I think what I see happen, unfortunately, is I'll just say a woman came into my office a couple weeks ago, and she'd had back surgery. She'd had some disc replacement in her back where they fused one segment with bolts and then put in a mechanical disc in the other one in her low back. And she'd been suffering a lot of pain in her foot and her hip and thigh and knee. And I think I mentioned her last week. We did a TRT stem cell treatment on her foot, and she got some relief for a few days. But then she came back in, and she was still having problem. And she had said that she had been told that the problem was in her foot. But when we looked at her spine and we looked at the nerve that track out of the low back down to the feet, I was just showing what happened. She goes, I suspected that was really potentially my problem. And that it was coming potentially from the low back, where the nerves that exit the low back go down to the knee, they cross the knee, they go to the ankle, cross the ankle to the foot. They also go to the large intestine. Those same nerves in your low back go to your large intestine, your colon, which that is. And that information from that nerve tells the brain how the colon is doing. If it's non-functioning, if you've got leaky gut, if you've got toxins in your colon or a toxic colon, and the nerve that is coming from the colon to the spine, then into the lower spine of the lumbar part of the body, then up through the center of the spine to the brain is not being able to communicate well, your colon doesn't have a really good chance of becoming healthy, because the body's cut off from the communication to that area, or it's altered. So at any rate, she had an eye-opening moment and said, yes, I think that this is giving me a lot more information. And she proactively chose to do some more different things to help her body. And, the whole thing is about understanding. And once you understand the process, the solution becomes self-evident. Once you understand what's causing your condition, the solution becomes self-evident. If you are toxic and you have, Hashimoto's disease or Graves' disease or any of these diseases of the thyroid gland, which are autoimmune, meaning your body's fighting itself, then you got to take a look and say, why would the body be fighting itself? Well, the body's fighting itself because it thinks it's the enemy. So how is your body the enemy? It's not. It's the toxins that are creating bad effects that the body and the brain and your innate intelligence perceives to be an unhealthy condition, and goes after it to try to slow it down or stop it. But if the communication was clear, if the toxins, heavy metals, molds, hidden infections were out of your body or reduced dramatically, then your brain is going to function better. If you have pressure off the nerves in your spine, your body's going to function better. If you get rid of the toxic relationships that you're in, whether it's work, some friends, family members, your body's going to do better. So we're not, I think, take a look at this. Look at what's going on overseas right now. This nation was enjoying itself, just going along, paka, and all of a sudden it was attacked by another country. And I saw this really kind of heart-wrenching video online that I related to because I'm a piano player, or I like to play piano anyway. And it showed this woman in her bombed out house. And the caption was, she'll play her piano one more time before she leaves her bombed out house. And she pulled a cloth or a sheet off of this white grand piano, opened it up, and with the devastation of the walls blown out around her, she played her piano for one last time. And she was an amazing piano player. And, we just take a look at that and go, gosh, that's an adverse environment, right? So there's a mental stress that is so tremendous that it would be hard for us to fathom something like that. However, we allow many things to cause stress to us. And then adrenal stress, whether you're being chased by a tiger, whether you think that there's an invisible invader about to get inside you, or whether you're about to get in a car accident, get hijacked, the same response occurs in your body. That is the fight or flight mechanism occurs, and your immediately adrenaline is released. Adrenaline comes from the adrenal glands. That's what allows mom to pick up the car to get baby out from underneath it. And as that occurs, the survival mechanism of our body is, I don't need my brain, I don't need to digest food, and I don't need my immune system right then. So everything, all of the blood, everything goes to your muscles so you can run. And it's a stimulus response thing. You run as fast as you can, or fight as fast as you can, get under cover as fast as you can, or whatever it may be. If that stress continues on too long, then your cortisol levels go up. Cortisol comes from the adrenal cortex, and it is a fight or flight hormone as well. But as it occurs over a chronic period of time, it has devastating effects on the body, causes inflammation of the joints, can break down your joints, opens up the blood-brain barrier, can cause more glucose and insulin to get into the brain, along with the plaque that causes Alzheimer's disease. And if that condition continues on, it will start to basically dissolve your joints. Now, we've had 2 years of this kind of attack on our psyche by what's been going on with the things of the world. Now, ours have calmed down some, but look at poor Kiev, what's happening there. Whatever side of the fence you're on, I don't care what country it is, it's not a good thing. These guys are stressed. So if you can imagine where you are right now, what is the chance that you could make a change? Could you make a change in your life? You don't have that terrible threat of life looming over you in the skies and on the ground with people running around looking for you. We have so much opportunity here to be and stay healthy, to enjoy our lives, to create. And if it's to be, it's up to you. There, again, no magic pill is going to get you there. You can go to school. Even as a chiropractor, we go to school for many years, and I read the amount of hours of a chiropractic student versus a medical student last week, and you can see where we have so much more in certain areas because we're understanding how the body needs to be able to heal itself. And so the thing that I really want to equate here or talk about is we don't have the stressors that some parts of the world are now experiencing. In the last 2 years, we had enough fear and stressors that could have totally affected our health, our production, our family. I know that so many family members would not see another family member because they chose to be vaccinated or not vaccinated. So they couldn't, the other people would move away from them on the Group W bench, as Arlo Guthrie said, at Alice's Restaurant movie many years ago. But and it was amazing what lines have been drawn because of this, and also the political arena, what lines have been drawn, and it doesn't make for a very healthy environment one way or another for us to not be able to talk out our differences of opinions without being slammed on one side of the aisle or not. So that is something regarding our health that we really need to look at individually. And if you're in a situation where it's a no-win situation, why even bother talking your point? People aren't going to listen at this point. Just go on and flourish and prosper. Flourish and prospering means to flourish, of course, means like to bloom effusively. And prosper means that you have an abundance of things in which to survive on, way above just the basic survival level. And if you decide to flourish and prosper and then just flourish and prosper, your life is going to be a lot different. But you have to decide to do that. You have to know that what you think about, you talk about, what you talk about, you bring about. So think good thoughts. You have to know that 99.999% of the stuff you worry about never happens. So train yourself to change the way that you think about things. There's so many avenues in life that we can take right now. You can decide right now that you're going to make a difference in your health. You can decide that you're going to go out and do something harmful to your health tonight or today. But I just hope that we all realize that we're not in a life and death situation like some people on the planet right now. And even the countries that have been in war long before what just happened recently. We have amazing opportunity here. And if it's to be, it's up to me. So I encourage you to get your health together. Because if you get your health together, you can help other people. If you want to feel better yourself emotionally, help somebody else. That's one of the best things that I've ever done to make me feel better is go help somebody. And it's huge. You have fulfillment by doing it. So we've got a couple minutes left here. I want to encourage you to pick up my book, New Hope for Sciatica, or Turn Back Your Biological Clock at Amazon. Read it. Come on in my office or call my office or write me. I've been getting letters from all over the country regarding New Hope for Sciatica. The first one came from Nome, Alaska, and it was pretty interesting, handwritten. It looked like it was midwinter, so she probably was writing it by candlelight up there. But just appreciating what I was saying in the book and trying to find somebody in Alaska that had a stem cell machine. Well, I found somebody I do know somebody in Anchorage, Alaska that does. So I was able to send her there so she could at least get that technology. Now, the stem cell machine alone is not going to solve all your problems. You've got to look at potentially getting the toxins out of your body, out of your house, out of the clothes you wear, out of the food you eat, and then detox your body. It's not just like, you can't just start eating clean food and expect to detox your body. The best way for me to correlate that is there was a commercial several years ago about a laundry detergent. And it was Johnny had some white pants and he got a grease spot on it. And mom kept washing those white pants over and over and over again with a regular detergent. And the white spot the grease spot never came out. So finally, they used this new incredible enzyme and put that in the water. And you could see these little Pac-Man brushes going around and scrubbing that oil and releasing it from the fabric. until the pants turned white again. Well, today we have so many advances in chemistry and understanding of biochemistry that if you really want to detox yourself, there is a science behind it. I am trained fully in it with Dr. Dan Papa and our group. We're doing a detox right now that you could jump on. It's a 3-month program. The first month we work on detoxifying your or preparing your body to detox, because you can't detox with a leaky gut, with a malfunctioning liver, with a kidney that's overstressed, with lungs that are overstressed, and skin that's not working or detoxing correctly. So the first month, we're going to help your body prepare to detox. If you don't do this, you're fooling yourself. Your body is not going to make it. The second month is we start to pull the heavy metals, molds, and toxins out of your tissues below the neck, your organs and tissues. And there's certain supplements that we have you take to do this. And once that's done, we can start to work on the brain. And then as we're detoxifying your brain, putting substances through the blood-brain barrier to grab onto the plaque, heavy metals, molds, and chemicals that are in your brain causing Alzheimer's and all kinds of other dementias, we can pull those out, start the process of getting your body healthy again. So 3 months isn't a cure-all at all, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. And depending on how long you've been exposed to toxins, how much you've been exposed to toxins, and how the physical body is doing and how you are doing mentally and emotionally, those chemicals, as we remove them from your body, will help your body come back and become healthier. And we have a whole training program on that. Thank you very much for being here today. This is Dr. Duncan McCollum, McCollum Wellness Radio. You can listen to my podcast, McCollum Wellness Radio podcast, on any of those mediums that are out there. Go to my website, McCollum Family Chiropractic. We're here every Saturday from 1 to 2. You can join my detox program by calling my office, 831-459-9990, 831-459-9990. And just come on in and try the stem cell machine for $49. It might just free your joints up so you can exercise, so you can get the metabolism going, push that lymph around your body quicker, and start your body down the road to recovery. It's been fun talking to you. I hope you've enjoyed it today, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much.
KSCO.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm